So what are end times? Are they happening right now? And does it have anything to do with Bruce Willis taking an oil crew up to space? We're going to find out. It's the Why Do Christians podcast. Hey, welcome to the show. My name's Mark Dickey. I host the afternoon show on the Bridge radio station. And my co-hosts are two pastors in Southern Delaware. Pastor Burt Miller of Solid Ground Church.
Hey, YouTube. Hey.
Smash that like button.
Smash it.
Yeah. And Pastor Josh Dupiche from Hope Church.
Hey. What's up, guys? I was just came back from smashing the like button.
Okay,
but
wow.
I'm here now.
You got here so fast.
It was a miracle.
Wow.
One day I'm just going to pull out a confetti cannon again.
Oh, please don't.
Without, and
there are still bits of it on the table in here. No. How many weeks has it been at this point?
It's been over a
I have
month.
some in my brain.
Yeah. Oh.
Is that
It's
that
in
what's
there.
causing the short
Well, there's
circuit?
eyelids at night when he closes his eyes. She's like, oh,
Colors.
confetti.
Should see an eye doctor for that one.
See a lot of
Seeing his
doctors.
spots. Well, today we're talking about end times, and it's probably one of the most taboo things in the Bible, I feel like. Maybe not the most, but it's just the idea that the Bible talks about the end of the world, how Christians are involved in it, when it is, where it is, what it is,
How it is.
who it is.
Why it is.
And he left.
No. You guys got it all.
Okay. So we're going to chat about that today.
Yeah.
Do you guys like the end times?
Well, hold on.
Yeah. That was a loaded
Hey,
question.
sir, excuse me, sir. It's the end of the world. How do you feel about that? I feel fine.
Feel great.
Yeah.
And I feel fine.
Yeah.
I was going to make one of
It
these
had
jokes.
to. It had to happen. I thought about, but I realized it would just take way too much work and effort. I was going to try to memorize all of the lyrics of the REM song. Quick! It's just like you start sweating by the end. Yeah, I knew a guy in college that could do it. Yeah, it was impressive.
Nice.
I wanted to emulate him. It was my friend Kevin. Now that
What
I've
did
said
he
it.
amount to?
A lot of things.
Yeah, great.
A legend.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thanks for supporting Burt in his youth.
Nah.
Getting him to this moment.
No, we've drawn it beyond. What are we talking about?
We're talking
Okay.
about the end of the world as we know it.
Okay.
So,
Josh, how do you feel?
I feel great. I mean, I'm assuming my ribs will make it. Like I'll be able to eat those before the end.
What?
What? You guys are not. It's the end.
Did you turn to
Have
cannibalism?
some ribs, not human ribs.
What are you talking about?
Well, anyway, I'm
No,
talking
no,
about
no.
you know, like
Bring that back. What?
it's the end of the world. You have to barbecue, right? I mean, because what else is left?
Is that a thing? Like, is that a thing?
Isn't that how it works?
Hold on. I know. Like,
Is
we're
that
talking.
just me?
Wait. I know
is it
we're
because
talking.
everything's on fire?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
you might
I
as
didn't know
well-
there was like expected end of the world etiquette that like we were just blissfully unaware of.
Like,
Yeah,
am I
okay.
supposed to bring a side?
You probably should, but we may not make it to the side.
That's true.
A side
That's
of
true.
anarchy.
Okay. All right. And
Side of strife.
We've already confused somebody because we're talking about everything being on fire, and they're like, "Wait, that's what's going to happen?" No, a lot of joking's happening. Actually, I don't know.
Maybe.
We're going to find
Maybe
out
it will.
later. So let's start with this.
Okay.
When we say end times, what do we mean?
Well, personally, when I say end times, what I think of is there's a term in theology. It's called eschatology. It means study of the end. So I think of end of the world I keep saying as we know it. It's Christ's return. It's often called the day of the Lord in the Old Testament, where God brings all of creation back under his reign. Like right now, we believe that the world as it exists is not the way that God created it, that creation has been broken through sin and evil. And so God in his patience right now is waiting for the full number of people to repent and turn to him. And at the end, like the end of the world is when it's the end of our world as it is now, as it falls under the reign of Christ completely. So that's what I mean by it. I don't know about you, Josh.
Yeah. I mean, one of the ways I think about it is just that word means, I think it comes from two words, the last word. And so it's the last word God has about the world, about humanity. So about the return of Jesus, about the resurrection of our bodies, final judgment, and even heaven and earth. And so this is it. So End times is what God has finally and fully said. Here's what's going to happen, and that's what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Now, something that can be very confusing for people, Christians, even non-Christians, is Jesus coming back is a good thing. You're talking about good things, and the way it comes across is, oh, Christians are really excited about the end of the world.
It's a good thing if you follow Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I don't know. Maybe it's just okay. Recently, at time of recording, there's always developments in the Middle East. I feel like that's every other week, but like there was the possible war with Israel and Iran, and there was all this stuff, and so you had people just kind of like, at least on my social media feed, they were blowing it up with like, see, this fulfills this prophecy, and this means that we are in the end of days, like we are there, and then it kind of seemed to not be, but there are camps within Christendom because everyone does not believe the same thing about the end of the world. And we just need to be explicit on that there, across the board of our faith, different movements, different denominations where people believe different things about it. But there are those in the camp, and we can talk about why later on, that believe like, okay, stuff with Israel means it's always a sign, and that God's or Jesus' return is now because of this thing in Israel that's happening.
So is there a specific way that the world is supposed to end?
I'll let Josh field that one.
Okay. Yeah, well, yes, there is. I think the church has spent the last 2,000 years trying to figure out what that is, what that specific way is. So right now I call it the Big Four. We pretty much have 4 big camps. You have your dispensational pre-mill, which is the guys who are just like, oh, there'll be a rapture, 7 years of tribulation, and then Jesus Christ will come back.
Okay, wait, pause on that really quick.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot there.
That is a lot there.
Okay.
So when you say Big Four, are you saying there's 4 different ways people think are going to do this? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. 4 major ways that are looked at. Here's how the end will happen. Here's how Christ will return. Here's how the end of the world and the transformation will take place.
Okay, and you mentioned rapture.
Yeah.
So what's the thought there?
Oh, okay. I guess so.
Let's go.
The rapture is when the belief that was very popular at one point. I don't think so much right now. It's that Christ will kind of come down into our earthly realm. There'll be a sound of a trumpet, and all the Christians, all those who actually have faith in him, will go up to be with him. Mm-hmm. And pretty much the rest of the world will kind of be left in this 7 years of struggle, of trials, of hardship, and then Christ comes at the end of that.
So that's kind of like the Left Behind book series model of Jesus. He's kind of floating in the atmosphere. But does everybody see him, or is it like a secret appearing? Do you remember?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the Christians see him, if I remember that correctly. It's like
so Christians disappear, because they're taken up with Christ, and then the earth sort of plunges into
utter
dark.
chaos.
Yeah, was it the reign of the Antichrist? Then is that okay?
Pretty much.
And that's the like, people joke about it, but I guess they're serious too at the same time. Like, you just see a bunch of clothes everywhere.
Yeah, that's it.
Like the people got beamed up, and only their bodies went. So you're just like, oh, what?
Yeah, they were transported into robes, so the clothes stay here.
Yeah,
I heard of a church that had like a staff meeting, and somebody got up to go to the bathroom, and so everyone at the meeting table like left some clothes on the chairs and like went and hid in another room. So when he came back,
trauma incoming.
I didn't get picked.
Oh man!
No,
which is another question probably for later on down the road is who gets raptured. But okay.
Well, can we, but also really quick, because I feel like that's probably the most, I don't know if it's the most popular, but it's certainly the most vocal in our culture where we live. I think it's always just important to know, though, like that. So he references as pre-mill, like pre-millennium, and dispensationalism is what it's called. So actually, dispensationalism believes that like there's a difference between Israel and the church, which is why when you see stuff happening in Israel, dispensationalists tend to like go nuts because it fits into their theology a lot. It's also kind of important to know that like that theology didn't exist until about the 1800s. So for the first 2,000 years of church history, nobody believed the end times were going to happen like that. I mean, it's certainly very popular, but like it's not the most historical in our faith.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember as a high schooler becoming a Christian, and I realized I'd never read Revelation, and I decided at like 1 a.m. Like,
What a
never
time.
read it before. I'm like, oh, like, I wonder how the Bible ends. It's just, whoo. Just terrifying.
Dragons.
Just
Dragons everywhere.
things are on fire.
Yeah,
and
It's not a barbecue. No, it's not. Well,
okay, we're
it's
going
not
to
a
keep
bar-
moving from that
Yeah.
one.
But yeah,
But-
I would say there's those big four, right? Your premillennial, amillennial, and they all kind of
Whoa.
register.
Dude,
about,
what are they? Like, come on. You're just throwing out the words.
So
we don't know.
I would say so. They all center around the coming of Jesus or the establishing of His kingdom. So your dispensational is right. There's this rapture, 7 years, and then Christ. And then your premillennial is basically Christ returns and sets up His kingdom on earth. This earthly kingdom for 1,000 years, and then comes the full end of everything. And then your amillennial is kind of like Christ is ruling and reigning now, and pretty much will set up His new creation at the very end, when He's fully prepared and kind of like at His coming at the end. And then your post millennial is pretty much that the gospel spreads throughout the earth, and transforms the earth and brings peace and like a certain kind of peace and connection in humanity where the whole world begins to go, oh no, Jesus is truly God, and starts to transform. And at the end of that, Christ comes and sets up His kingdom. So those are the big fours. There's other ones that kind of sprinkle around, but those are the majors. But here's the thing. I think that's a big deal, and it's something you mentioned, Bert. I think everybody wants to see the world end.
Wow. Okay.
You're right, but not like the movies. Like, no one wants to see the world annihilated. But I think we all want, in a sense, an end of things as they are.
It's like a change.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Like we want to see diseases gone. We want to see poverty taken away. We want to see hunger. Like, no one would be like, no, please give me more of that, right? We would all be like, we want to end to that. And the question is, how do we want that to end?
Yeah.
But I do think for someone who's not Christian or is when Christians talk about the end of the world, it's something we all gather around. We just have different views of how we think that will conclude, the best way for that to conclude.
Okay. Can I ask you a question with that?
Yeah.
So we're hearing the word millennial a
Yeah.
lot in the different forms, right? So you've got
Oh,
pre,
yeah.
post,
So Gen Z.
Okay. That's a great joke. Hold on.
Yeah, I do.
Can we just soak in that joke for a moment? That was really, really good, man.
Yeah. So does
Sure.
Gen Z go to heaven is the question.
We can only assume it's a
Okay.
millennial.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But all right, millennium being like 1,000. Is there like a specific passage of scripture that these views center around? Because that seems like a very specific thing to, hey, 1,000 years. Like, why is it that it's got to be that around the end of the world, Christ's return, all that stuff?
Yeah, I think that comes up in Revelation, I want to say chapter 20.
Okay. Do you remember what it says?
No.
Okay. I bet you it says something about the return of Christ and his reign of 1,000 years.
Yes, that's exactly what it
I'm going
says.
to Google it now. Hang on.
Let's do it.
Okay. We're nothing if not prepared on this show. Oh, it's Revelation 20, verses 4 through 6. It says, "Then I saw thrones, and seated on them were those who, to whom the authority to judge was committed. I also saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the testimony of Christ." This man, Revelation is metal. You're right.
Yeah.
Light
for,
reading.
Yeah, for the word of the Lord, and those who had not worshipped the beast or its image, and not received its mark on their foreheads and their hands. Oh, you guys, it's also
There's so much here.
Mark of the beast. We don't
There's so much
All right,
here.
but then it says they came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. So there it is. The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is the one who shares the first resurrection. Over such the second death has no power, but they will be priests of God and of Christ, and they will reign with him for 1,000 years. So there it is.
So, guys, I've been a Christian most of my life, and even just hearing that, I'm just like so checked out. Just there's so many pieces, so many different details and things, and it's all in the future.
Or is it?
Okay. But it's led me, and I feel like a lot of Christians, to go, okay, it hasn't happened yet. Hasn't happened yet.
Unless it has.
But
Because there are people who think it has.
so it's not something that I need to concern myself with, because it's like, you know what? I'm just going to do what Jesus said. I'm just going to follow Jesus. And we all kind of agree to disagree on end times for the most part as Christians. That's at least how it feels. Like, let's not talk about that today. And like, is it okay to feel that way about Revelation?
I don't think so, because I think that could feed a certain mindset in the heart.
Like apathy?
Yeah, because it's like God said something, but I don't need to really know what he said. Like, it's not really important to my personal life right now, so it doesn't matter. I think that could be a very dangerous place to start to slide into.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have the rest of the scriptures, Peter, Paul telling us to grow in the knowledge of the Lord. So I think if he says something, we should spend some time trying to, at minimum, understand it.
Gotcha.
Right? Saying, like, because it's given for our benefit, for our growth and our maturity in knowing him and loving him. So there is that aspect, even though it's difficult, but in that fighting and in that struggle to understand, there's this maturity of knowing God much more deeper that we shouldn't miss.
Okay, but
cool.
I guess I don't know that I disagree with that, but let me just, other end of it, if I could push at it a little bit, my question would be, all right, I think we would all acknowledge that, hey, we're not gonna understand all the scriptures, right? Like across the board.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say to the one who's like, listen, there's all kinds of stuff that I'm not going to understand, and it's okay for me to be content with that. Why is it I have to understand this thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't know if I would phrase it that you would need to completely to have a full grasp of it, but to be growing in it, if that makes sense. So, for example, like for me, I knew the Old Testament was what glazed my eyes over. Like, why are these priests? Like,
What is a cubit?
yeah, and why are we killing animals? What is happening right now? Right, and for me, for a long time, it didn't do anything, and it glossed over. But the idea of continuing to grasp like what is happening, as much as God was willing to give me, over time, I came to understand the depth of it, of how it really pointed to Jesus and the sacrifice. I mean, like that just blew my mind and secured my faith. And so I think that's how it's kind of like the look at Revelation. It's like, yeah, right now it's I'm glossing over. But if I keep looking, there's a chance, or there's likely God will open my eyes to understand how His Word can secure my faith here and help me see Jesus in a better light.
That makes sense.
In our lifetimes, will we fully get it? No, but we can grow.
But also, I mean, like,
Yeah.
Mark, to your thing earlier with like I'm just trying to live my life. I think we would all agree, none of us are saying your understanding of Revelation will save you or not, right? But also, like, I think about the reading of Revelation. It's not a light book or boring, right? Like I remember kind of similar with the Old Testament being like, oh man, here's another genealogy, right? Not knowing like the function they serve, and maybe that's another like future episode. But man, you read Revelation, and there's like multi-headed beasts, and like people with multiple eyeballs, and angels appearing, and fire, and like like ghostly entities riding horses in the sky. Like it's a wild book, and all those have meaning and symbolism, prophecy, what have you. But like when we read, when we read Revelation, we talk about this idea like our eyes glossing over. It's not, the book is boring. If I'm hearing you right, it's just more like man, this is overwhelming. Yeah. There's so much here. Like I feel like I'm drinking from the fire hose kind of thing.
Yeah, or it's like starting a new book and you don't understand the world that the book takes place in yet. And you're just so lost. You're like, wait, what? Who are these people? Why does that person matter? What is it? It's just okay. Jesus, God, I recognize those names.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Another question I have is, we've briefly talked about how Christians often look forward to the end times, specifically through the lens of, death and decay and disease. All these things are going to go away when God makes things new. Should I be worried about the end of the world, about the end times?
Define worried.
I mean, it's the life that I have, my loved ones, what a big change is going to come And is this something I should be nervous about, or can I have joy in it? Can I be happy about it?
Oh, that raises a sub question for me. If I'm wondering if underlying that question of worried is that dispensational tribulation, like that's the real fear and not the coming of Jesus. Does that make sense?
No, give me
It's
more.
like, so your question is, should I be worried at the end? Looking into it, are you saying, should I be worried about the tribulation and the trials and the difficulties the Bible seems to paint comes with the end? Or are you saying, should we be worried about Jesus coming and changing the whole world?
I guess just anxiousness. If you're not a Christian, you're just going, well, an asteroid didn't hit us today.
Right.
The Earth, there was a big bang a couple billion years ago, and more than a couple, according to them.
Wow. Let's uncork some new stuff for this episode, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not a Christian, you're not thinking about stuff like this in particular. Like it's a unique thing. So naturally there would be some fear or anxiousness towards it.
Yeah, I don't know which viewpoint would lend to fear in that sense. Like, okay, if you take like a pre-tribulation rapture viewpoint, like, hey, like the 7 years are really, really bad stuff, but Jesus pulls Christians out before that. It's not going to change your life in the sense of a fear of suffering because there's no suffering on the horizon for you.
Well,
right?
so,
Wait, but
go ahead.
okay. But if you take, for instance, like an amillennial view, like, all right, no, there's no such thing as a pre-tribulation rapture, like Jesus returns and then he, and that's it. You're not in that viewpoint promised a life exempt from suffering, right? And like, or post, like you're still living in a broken, fallen world. And so then we go, okay, well, like if that's the the lead up to Jesus' return, okay, well, when he returns, should I be afraid of it? Well, if I'm in Christ, no, because Revelation describes it as him wiping every tear from our eyes. Like there's no bad thing in that. Will things change? Yes, but they can only change for good because it's God's way in creation. God, who is the author of life, of love. So it will be different, but that's not like the only way that would be a fearful thing is if you're desperately trying to cling to what things the way they are now, which no matter what you believe is going to change, right? Like even if I don't believe in Jesus, the life that I have now, I will lose. Like just period. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it should evoke that. And we can take like an alarmist viewpoint. Again, like just cards on the table. I'm not, I probably made that evident earlier. Like I'm not a dispensationalist. But like if I look at, things in Israel and I'm like, oh man, this is gearing up for this or gearing up for that. Well, okay. But Christians have, maybe it is, but Christians have suffered for 2,000 years in brutal, horrific ways. So what is it I'm afraid of with that thing that I'm not afraid of now? Like, why would that create more fear in me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing is that I personally bring to the table with that question is there's that one verse that talks about, I believe it's referring to the end days and those who cried, Lord, Lord, and prophesied in my name.
Yeah.
And he says, I never knew you.
Yeah. That you're talking about in Matthew. Yeah. But that's not, Josh, you have a thought with that? I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off.
No. I was thinking that. Funny you go there. I think some of the fear comes with, it reminded me of John, 1 John 1:28. 1 John chapter 2, verse 28. So he says that when the Lord appears, live such a life that we may be confident and unashamed before him at his coming. And so I think that sometimes is the underlying fear that as we approach this, the Lord coming, will I be ashamed? Should I be afraid because I haven't been living the Christian life that I should? I haven't been walking the way I should. And so we kind of feel the shame and guilt. And so if you're thinking about it that way, then there could be room in a sense for fear, because then I'm looking at my life and going, yuck. If Christ comes in here, I'm not going to be super glad to see him because I'm disgusted at myself.
I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, I'm not ready yet. But I think I think that's one hand that has to be paired with another. That Christ is coming for me.
That's right.
Yeah, like he is coming to do away finally fully with that yuck, to give me that joy of being in his presence. So that there might be that sense of, oh man, I'm not ready yet, but at his coming, he will finally and fully make me ready.
Yeah.
Like, right, he will present me to himself blameless and holy and righteous. And so I think if you're heavy-handed on one hand, yeah, it can be fearful. Yeah, Christ is coming. Will I make it? Like, but that's not the full story.
Well, I mean, I agree with that, but let's couple that with something. So, like, you reference, like the verse that you reference is Matthew 7. It's Matthew 7, 21 through 23. It says, where Jesus says, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not drive out demons in your name and perform many miracles?' And I will tell them plainly, 'I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers.'" And the way I've heard that verse taught, I hope I've never done it, but I've lost track of what I've preached over the years at this point. Like I've heard it taught with this kind of old Southern faith invitation, right? So you've got this kind of thing of, get away from me, I never knew you. And so then the speaker or the preacher gets up and goes, "So brother, let me ask you, do you really know Christ?" Right?
No, you're right.
Yeah, like in sort of weird ethereal, like, okay, I'm a Christian, I'm following Jesus, but do I really know him? Like, because what if, like I'm trying to do things for him, and what if I don't actually know him and he's going to cast me away? And that defeats what this verse is saying, because the whole, like, I never knew you, it's sandwiched with the idea of doing the will of God, right? Not everyone who says to me the will, but the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. And then, like, the end of it, away from me, you evildoers. The idea there is somebody who's using Jesus' name as a dodge. It's a, hey, you know what? I'm going to be forgiven, so it doesn't matter. Or maybe like they're using for personal gain. Hey, look at these things, like, like a scam preacher. Like, hey, look, I'm using Jesus' name. Look, hey, didn't I prophesy in your name? Didn't I drive out demons in your name? Right? And Jesus is going, like, you're corrupt. Like, you have no part of me. Like, and that's something important to realize, that with God, there are no loopholes. It's not a thing where you can sort of outsmart him with, I'll get in on a technicality. I'm not really going to follow him. But if I just say this thing over here, then he's got to. That's not what this passage, or like this passage would dissuade that idea. And that has nothing to do with, like, what Josh just said, where the idea of, like, no, I look forward to his coming because he's going to make me, like, all that ucky stuff right. But yeah, like, my conscience should be pricked and pulled at in this life on the way.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, that's both of you. That's great.
I want to add, but I don't, because it was so good. I'm done.
No, it's a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, the way these things are defined is we just keep going.
Oh.
It's all right. Yeah. Like,
okay.
add all kinds of stuff, man.
No. It was really good. Yeah. That's yes. It just reminds me also of John 6, where it says, like, the will of the Father is that we look and believe on the Son.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when
the work of God is this, to believe on the one he sent.
Yes. Yeah. And so, Burt is absolutely right. The people in this picture, Jesus has to keep repeating to them, you never obeyed the Father. You never believed in the Son. You were just trying to do all these things to kind of sneak your way in and to earn your way in. Mm-hmm. And no, the only one who has earned is the Son. Trust in him. Yeah. And so anyone who's fully put their faith in Christ does not have to fear.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But this guy told me on Facebook
my uncle posted this thing
that said that the end of the world is going to be on this day.
Yeah.
I met that guy.
We have the same uncle?
Wow. I have all the questions there.
Explains a lot, actually. It makes sense. We do.
What? I'm teeing this up for you guys. Do we know when the end is coming?
I thought you were gonna say, do we know how we got the same uncle? Well, I thought that's what you were gonna say.
That's a question that's intriguing. Do you want me to answer that question? Hold on a second, Josh.
Do you know?
I don't know.
Do you have our family tree?
I don't know.
That's right. Like, when you guys weren't looking, I 23 and me'd you.
Well, wow.
Yeah.
That was fast.
You want to take it? Or you want me to take it? I mean, I can roll with that, or if you want to.
How about you roll? And I have a story because I met that guy, not the uncle, the guy who thought the end of the world.
Yeah. Okay, so the short answer is no. Nobody knows when the world's going to end. Jesus says the thing where he's like, you can kind of glean things by the signs. The problem, there's not a problem with his teaching of that. The problem is within humanity. People are always misreading the signs. So I like to say it like this. Ever since the beginning of the church, every generation of Christians have believed that they are the last generation. But one generation will be right. Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Like
the last one.
Yeah, that's right. But Jesus says it like this, like in terms of like the specific day or the hour, Matthew 24:36, he goes, but concerning the day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. So Jesus goes, even I don't know.
Wow.
Okay, and how that works with the Trinity, I mean, that's a whole other conversation. But the idea, like, so whenever somebody like comes along and they're like, you know what, I've done the math, okay, and Jesus will return on October 20th or whatever, they're always wrong because nobody knows the day. Like I can't make this up. There's a group in the 1800s, I think it was, called the Millerites, and my last name is Miller, so I just find that funny because people who, I guess maybe like people follow a movement that I start, they're just gonna be inherently disappointed. I'm not sure.
My uncle?
Was this your? I was gonna ask.
I don't know. I didn't look into it. Maybe like a great uncle because in the 1830s and 40s. Well, more than that. This guy named William Miller, and what he did was he took there's a passage in Daniel 18.
Bill.
Or, no, 8. Yeah, Bill Miller, sure. Daniel 8:14, where he talks about like there's 2,300 evenings, and so he's like, all right, so if I move it here and I move it there, Jesus will return between March 1843 and March 1844.
Oh man, we missed him.
You're so close. So close. Man.
We got left behind, guys.
Yeah. So here's where it gets crazy, right? So obviously that wasn't right, and so he did more recalculating, right? And that brought him to October 22nd, 1844. And so on that day, thousands of people gathered, like on hillsides, and it was just this massive. People are celebrating. This is it, and no Jesus. And I have a quote from a guy who was there, and this is what he said. He said, "Our fondest hopes and expectations were blasted, and such a spirit of weeping came over us as I never experienced before. We wept and wept till the day dawned."
Wow.
Yeah. I wish I could tell you that's the only time something like that's happened, but it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's oh man, yeah, that's it. Because I've met a guy who had strongly believed like that, and he came to me and was expressing the same idea, had a date, and I remember, maybe by the mercy of God towards him, focusing on what would happen after Christ didn't come that day, like the pain and the suffering he would experience. And I remember just saying to him, like, hey man, if it doesn't go down the way you want, doesn't change who Jesus is, doesn't change the word of God, just means you got something wrong. And I think that has to be the heart when people are approaching you like that, and so confident that you prepare them for the experience and the suffering that comes after the fact. Yeah. Because that's painful.
Yeah.
To put all your hope in that and thinking you got it right and preparing for Jesus, and it doesn't come. It just brings you to question a lot about yourself, about God, and just having the right heart to prepare someone for after the fact, that you'll be there, you'll pray for them, you'll encourage them.
Yeah.
Is absolutely needed.
Oh, that's good. But think about I don't know, 'cause I've known folks sometimes in life. I've seen folks as they get closer to death, in age, life circumstance, whatever, they'll obsess over end time prophecies. And every news story is a confirmation. I know he's coming back in my lifetime. And really what's behind it is fear. I'm not saying that's every person who does that, but I've known folks for whom that was the case. I think something else just important to remember is, all right, look, it's not that we're uneducated people like us as Americans. We have so much information readily available to us. But let's remember that, okay, at Christ's first coming, like, there was a group called the Pharisees who had books of the Bible memorized verbatim, and they completely missed his arrival because they were so convinced they knew how it would be. Okay, and if that's true, then now granted, every eye shall see him. Okay, so yes, upon his return, he will be exalted. Yet the seasons going into it, let's hold an open hand towards that. I'm looking at what's happening right here, but I could be wrong about how I'm reading this, because I think God, being the infinite mind and creator that he is, he has ways of completely surprising us. Because he's smarter than us, he sees more than us. Like, I shouldn't be shocked if God does things in a way that completely takes me off guard.
So why do Christians talk about end times?
We didn't answer it, did we?
We didn't answer it. We've talked about a whole lot of stuff.
We've wasted all of your time.
But why is it so important? And like, what am I supposed to do with all of this information?
Yeah, 2 Peter, I think 3:11 says, since everything will be destroyed in this way, what kind of people should you be? Yeah, he asked that question, and he says, you should live holy and godly lives. So I think a part of why we talk about the end times is to stir one another towards that mindset that Christ's coming is imminent, right? And in the sense that not immediate, not like
any moment.
Right, yeah, in the sense that it can be any moment. And that, so then the idea is that should motivate us so that at his coming we could be prepared. We could be ready. We could be joyfully expecting him. And what that means is living obediently, living in all humility, not grasping on anything in this world, but having our hearts so set on him that when he shows, we're like, finally, glory be to God, this is the day. And also to secure our hope in eternal things. Think not on things that are here, but on the one who's coming here. And I think that's one of the reasons why, at least I love the end times. I talk about it because it reminds me there's more than just what I see with my eyes. There's more to live for than what I have. Christ is who we want to live for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think to roll with that a little bit, I remember years ago seeing a minivan, like in traffic, that was driving in front of us, and they had a bumper sticker that said, Jesus is coming back, look busy. Right.
Ooh.
And that's kind of the opposite heart of what we're saying here. I think just to partner with what you're saying there, Josh, I think it comes down to, Jesus is coming back, and that means the day of the Lord will come. Do you know him? Have you bent your knee to his lordship? Have you said, yes, I will follow you? The biblical idea of Christ is that he is king, and to not follow him, there's no indifference. It's either you are for him or you are his enemy. There's no sideline. To not follow him is treason. And so I would just say, if you have not surrendered to Christ, now is the time. Mm-hmm. You are not guaranteed a moment beyond this one. This moment is a gift that God Almighty has given to you, that you may have this opportunity. I don't know if you'll have another, and I'm trying to be threatening or bleak, but the reality is God in his mercy, patience, and kindness has given you this moment to be saved. And so I would tell you, if you have not surrendered your life to Christ, do it. Invite him into your life. If you believe that he died for your sin and rose from the dead, it can begin today, because salvation is not a thing that you work up or a track record that you have. It's a gift of God found in Christ. Romans 10:9 says that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. So let me encourage you, if you haven't done that, today is the day. Ask him to save you.
So good. And we've, not on YouTube, but we've got a bunch of episodes all about kind of those first steps in your walk with Christ. And why do Christians get saved was one of the episodes we did. So if you are subscribed to the podcast, you can find more information about coming into that understanding and relationship with God. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, we would love to hear them. You can leave them in the comment box or email them to podcast@wearethebridge.org.
Hey, Mark, what do they do if they're watching on YouTube?
Smash that like button.
Yeah.
Destroy the subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Party's over.
You want notifications about what's happening? You hit that bell.
KO. Thanks for listening.